Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to clean up this gate, take all the rust off it, take the heavy paint off it, give it a nice smooth finish, a nice shiny finish down to its plain steel. We'll put some primer on it then, and then we'll give it a lick of paint. This isn't our gate, by the way. It's a contract. The old man has his own sort of company. It's a small company that he does on the weekends, where he goes around doing welding and bits and bobs like that. And I was with him during this day when this buck found this gate behind a shed that was hung up at his house or his mother's house or something. And he said we gave him an option that he could clean it or I'd clean it, but obviously I'd have to charge accordingly with the time I put into it, materials we had to get, so like we'll come to that in a minute. But I did tell him that I will charge accordingly for my labour and for whatever materials or whatever we needed to get. So these are the materials which whatever I use out of these I will charge your man accordingly. So we have like a mop disc, sort of like a grinding disc, and then we have a wire brush. The plan is to use this sort of grinding disc to go over, get all the heaviest of paints off it, and you can see maybe just about there's a lot of grooves and humps in it. This will sort of flatten it out and give it a nice sort of smoother, leveler finish. And then we'll go over it with the wire brush and basically take off any other stuff that are still on it. And then we'll go over it with the mop disc to give it the nice smoother finish once we have all that done. Once we have all that done, once we have all the paint taken off it, the rough edges taken off it, and then smooth it out, we'll put a primer on it, and then we'll give it a lick of paint, and we can give it back to him. So I am going to go straight at it now. a quick little update for you. So the gate is looking nice, whether the camera can pick it up or not. You can see I got it down to my best ability, down to its raw steel metal material, as you can see. I have this face done, and I have the bottom done as well. The only thing I have left to do is in there and there. So I'd have to stand up the gate. So what we do is we stand up the gate vertical, we wedge this bar underneath here, and then we have this edge then leaning on a bar here, and then we'll use the vice grips and vice grips this to that, and it should stay up, standing up sort of vertical. You also might be wondering, if people are asking in the comment section, why am I not in the workshop? The old man and a co-worker that works with them on construction sites are making a roof or legs for a shed or something out of steel girders. So I'm kicked out of there for the time being, and I have to sort of make do with working out here. So we used a mop disc first of all, which you've seen that at the first couple of clips, and I went over it with a mop disc to take off any sort of flake and paint, and to take off the rust as well, and I left it looking like that, if the camera would focus. I left it looking like that, basically, all around the gate itself. So the whole gate, even these bits that I'm after doing with the wire brush, all looked like that. So again, I have to do that with the wire brush as well. But we went over the whole gate with that mop disc to take off the paint and the rust, obviously. Once I had all that done, I used the wire brush on the grinder, which is looking a bit rough. But obviously that was new. You can see the packet right there. That was new. But obviously I done this face of it and the underneath of it, the bottom face of it as well. That's the bit that was lying down. You can see that I've that bit done as well to my best ability. It's right down to its metal. The rusty bits are gone off it, so it's looking quite good. And these bits here, because you can't really get a wire brush at it, well you can, but you kind of get the wire brush on the grinder at it. But what we do is we used the gas here, this yoke here, we heated it up, so with the white paint that was previously on it was going sort of burnt and going black. And then a hand wire brush and a paint scraper. Basically, when all this was heated and the white paint was black and burnt looking, basically got the wire brush and got in between it like that, and any bits that we couldn't get, used scraper to scrape it off. Another thing is, you can, whether the camera's picking it up or not, there's slight grooves in it, sort of like holes and dents in it. You can probably see it more clear there. Yeah. Now we could either use filler and fill that up, or we can just dose a lot of paint onto it, and the paint might level it out and smooth it out for us. But overall, the gate is in very good shape, other than the little grooves that are in it, and it sort of goes narrow then in some places as well. But it's still a good gate. It's only a gate separating a farmhouse from the farmyard. And again, I probably mentioned this at the start, this isn't our gate, this is a customer's gate. It's a gate that I got tasked to do, just to sort of clean it up, get it right down to its bare metal surface, which I have, and then we'll give it a coat of primer, and then I think we're going painting it black. I don't know what colour he wants it, but we will put primer on it, and we will paint it black, just to protect it from rusting as well. It prolongs the life of the gate, and it prevents it from rusting too fast. And if he wants to paint it another colour, he can paint it another colour, but we don't really have much paint options available to us. So black is probably the most most cans of paint we have is black. So we'll primer, black paint, and it's ready to go. And one last thing, now that this is at this stage looking very rough, when I was sanding it, the bits of the wire was coming off and hitting me on the trousers, and you could actually feel it on I could feel it on my leg, as if it was penetrating through the trousers itself. I could feel it touching the skin on my leg, and some would fly up and hit the goggles and sometimes hit my arms, but that's what happens when it gets to that kind of a stage. It had to, that one wire brush then done that up. Well, it's not finished yet, but it done the whole gate. Just it has to do in between these bars now, the right and left side of them. So it still has a bit to go, and any bit that I cannot get into with a wire brush on the grinder, the hand wire brush will do. So any bits of corners like here or there that the grinder mightn't be able to get in properly, I'll just go over it with a quick wire brush. But it might, who knows. The only thing is that if I get, when I'm wire brushing with the grinder, the wire brush on the grinder, when I'm getting too close to this corner here and any wires off the brush hits that, it'll start breaking off it and bouncing up on top of me. So maybe I should keep a bit back from it and leave the corners to do with the hand wire brush. I'm still pulling bits of wire brush out of my trousers. Every time I move around, it gets caught on the skin and I can feel it, and then I have to clip and pull it out. It's very unpleasant. I also think I mentioned in the intro that we were going to use this first to take off the heaviest bits of it, and then a mop disc, and then this or something like that. But when I was doing the start of it off camera, the grinding disc here was a bit rough on the steel itself. It was sort of withering it down to nothing. We want to try and keep the actual thickness of the bar itself, and this, when it was grinding on top of it, was sort of making it thinner and thinner, which when it came to like the bits where it gets narrow, it was sort of narrow, and then outside bits as well. But it would have helped get a lot of these sort of grooves out of it. But it was, when I started off, this was very, very severe on the gate. So we abandoned it and we used a mop disc to go over it first, as I mentioned, to take the rust and paint off it, and then the wire brush to bring it down to its shiny raw metal status. So I'm going to try and stand this gate up, and I might then make a quick short clip of showing you what I was trying to explain with standing up the gate and all that. So yeah, I'll put the camera down. I'll try and stand up the gate myself. The old man is gone with the co-worker of his, so yeah, we'll attempt it anyways. That's what I was trying to explain to you. So this metal strip obviously is wedged underneath this center bar on this trough, and it's then going up, and I have a vice grip then to the gate itself, and it shouldn't, it'll move outwards unless I put a vice grips here. It'll secure it even better, but I can just be standing here and basically sanding these sides of it, and then I have to flip the gate over and then do the underneaths when they're on top. So yeah, I'm going to put the camera down for a bit of this half anyways. I might record some of me cleaning it like this with the wire brush, and then it sort of depends. I mightn't even bother recording any clips of me recording those bits. But anyways, we'll see. I'll put the camera down and I'll get back to being progged with some wire brushes. Okay, I've done my best to get in there and in there, literally every bar, basically there and there. I've done my best with the grinder and the wire brush, with obviously the state it's in, and bits of wire then flying up at me as well. But I think I got it fairly clean. If I had another wire brush for the grinder, I think it would have done a better job. But obviously we don't have one, and we have to make do with what we got. But I think it has a fairly good surface for painting on, and I think any paint we do get, it should stick to it. Well, it'll stick to the front faces, like there and there, but now the sides now wouldn't be 100% sure about that. The paint will definitely stick to there and underneath, because the whole thing went over with a mop disc, and the mop disc was pretty good for the whole gate, but with the wire brush disintegrated, there wasn't a whole pile of it ready there. There wasn't a lot I could do with the wire brush that I had. It was falling apart and disintegrating because it had to do the whole gate. But I tried my best with what I had. The only thing is that, you know, the sides of the gate, the sides of the bars that's in the gate, didn't really get the proper wire brush treatment that the front and back faces of the gate got. But they did get a wire brush to it. So I think in the corners there as well, I might have to get the hand wire brush and just quickly tidy them up. But I think more or less any primer we put onto it, any paint we put onto it, it should stick and stay on it, even though the wire brush on the grinder was basically disintegrated down the sides. But it should stick. All that's left to do now is basically tidy up these again, apply heat to them, and then either the hand wire brush or the paint scraper there, and that will tidy them up. Other than that, it's ready for painting, it's ready for the coat of primer, and then it's ready for the paint. The gate has its undercoat now. We put red primer on it, so what's left to do on it now is to just get black paint and paint it black. I think the gate previously was white because the bits of flakes of paint that was on it when I was cleaning it up, especially around here, was very white. So just looking at the old paint that was flaking on it, to me anyways, I think it was previously the gate was white, but we don't have any white paint, and I don't know, does he want a gate in white, because a white gate is a bit ugly looking. So we have black paint over there on the bench. We're going to paint it black. If he's not happy with it, he can paint it a different colour himself, but we've done our bit. We've tidied it up, put primer on it, and now we're putting black paint on it just to slow down and prevent it from rusting too quickly. So let's crank open the black can of paint and let's get started. How's it looking? I think it's coming out pretty well. I'm putting the paint on fairly thick because the red, camera might be able to pick it up. You can see there's patches where the red is being dominant and coming out. So I'm putting the black paint on fairly thick to cover up any of the red patches and that the red isn't coming through on the final product. And you may have seen that I'm coming out around the back. That's just to clean up any sort of runaway drips that come down. You know, when you're painting the top or the front, you might have drips coming on the back. So I'm just cleaning that up because once they dry in, they're a pain to get off. So I'm getting rid of any drips and runaways while I'm painting the front. But it's looking fairly good. I'm fairly happy with how it's looking so far. We also set up this thing here to put the gate into it so I can swing it back and forth to get into the awkward angles there, which seems to be working a treat. But I'm going to put the camera away because I got basically 27 minutes of just painting footage. So painting is a slow job. I am trying to make this as best looking as I possibly can. So I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing through it. I'm going over any patches that the red is coming through. I'm sweeping away any drips. So I am taking my time and making sure that this is just an art of perfection. Anyways, you've seen a lot of painting in this video already, so I'm going to put the camera down, and if I can get any footage of it when it's fully done, I will. If I don't, you'll just see the outro next, but hopefully I will get time. Just give you a couple of seconds run through, just a short clip of the actual finished product. If I have time, if I'm not busy, but you never know, that's the farming life for you. The gate is finally done. It came out pretty good. I'm happy with how it came out. There's a few spots on it where the red paint, the undercoat or the primer is still coming out on it, but that's not a whole big deal because I can come around again with the paintbrush and just patch up those spots again. But overall the whole gate has been painted black. It looks pretty good. I done my best with it because with the state that the gate was in, it's all chipped and stuff, as you can see there. You're not going to get a smooth paint finish like you would on many other things because the gate itself, the metal on it was chipped. So, but other than that, you can see the paint came out pretty good. I think I done a pretty good job painting it. And I think that's actually my first time painting something of that nature. I've put red oxide on steel girders for sheds, but nothing as of detail as a gate like that. So that's my first time painting something of that nature. So I did put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of hours into it between cleaning it up, getting the rust off it, getting the flaky old paint off it and painting it. So I did put a lot of work in it and a lot of hours, and I'm pretty happy myself with how it came out, as you can clearly see with the clips I took. But you know now what type of work goes into that stuff. And that's the end of the video. So that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Check out my merch and check out the gate mate. The links to them will be down in the description. And I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.